All right, guys, and welcome to round three game of GP Valsenia. Pip, do you want to introduce our contestants?
Yeah, so the player on the draw is HerziQuerzi, who is playing Blue-Green X Turbofog, and the other player is Dravos, Argentum / Petra, who is playing the Blue-Green ramp deck, but is splashing in this list to gain access to Tyrant of Tributes,
Yep,
which is kind of a pet card for Petra.
we had quite the discussion during the decklist stream about the merits of splashing red for a Tyrant.
Um, and to be fair, this is actually one of the other matchups where Tyrant isn't bad, but Tyrant still isn't like nuts in this matchup.
Well, actually, if this deck is anything like the Thief deck that Herzi used to run, yeah, I think Ramp has a really bad matchup into it.
Oh yeah, this Herzi's deck on paper should be good into ramp because Herzi's deck is just really brutal at beating creature decks that are planning to kill you with creatures and don't goldfish you on like turn 3 or 4. If
Yeah.
Herzi has an engine under her, the ability to just like repeatedly cast fogs is really hard to beat.
Are they still mulliganing right now?
Herzi is not mulliganing. Petra is has mulliganed the first two hands, I think. No, just
Oh,
just one hand.
just first
So
hand?
this is
Okay, yeah, then this hand's also a mulligan.
yeah. Petra is trying to decide whether this is a keepable hand, but I think it's just pretty clearly not. You don't have plays until turn 3. You're on the draw. Like, what matchup would this hand be good in? Maybe versus control, but like
No, you want to go
yeah,
under control.
yeah, you can't do that.
Thank you, Dravos.
It's not an entirely fair statement.
Did we talk about this less during the decklist stream too, or was it like after you had to leave?
I think I said that this deck was a really good meta call, but I don't know if this was the meta for it.
Well,
But like, you know, Herzi's hit
how's
pretty good matchups, or hasn't hit bad matchups at least.
what's Herzi's matchup so far?
So Herzi played round 2 against the Jeskai Fireweaver deck.
Okay.
I can't remember what round 1 was, but round 1 was a loss. Um, uh, oh, versus Skagra on Contra Town.
Ah, well, I
Wait,
mean,
was a long spanning loss. It sounds like.
Dravos keeps. Huh.
So, okay, putting back. Wait, you put back a Vivian. That one can't be right, right? You definitely put back a Lumbering Hillock there.
Wait, did you just mask? Well, no, you're mad. You have blue. Okay, I'll have to wait for
Yeah.
your shrine. Hey, look, there's your turn 2 play. So now you can play Lumbering Clock on turn 1.
Never punished. I mean, I still don't think this hand is like nuts, but this definitely makes the hand a lot better.
Yeah, I mean it's a keepable 5-card hand
Yeah,
if
I
you ignore
suppose.
one of the lands.
All right, Hershey's already +1 on cards. Let's go. Value achieved.
Bounce lands, card advantage.
Yep.
Okay, that's a lot of RFEs at least. So at least Dravos won't lose the card advantage game.
This is just like not the angle that Dravos's deck wants to be competing on though. Like Dravos wants the like fast labor and alpha starts in this matchup, not the like dire straits heavy hands. You put this on the basic force, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course you do.
Every so often players find ways to surprise you.
Well, yeah, fair. And okay, Edge of the Water comes out. Wait, for 2 mana? Oh,
Prismatic Cavern produces 2 mana, so this is 3 mana spent.
I completely forgot that it's a bounce land, even though even though we mentioned it.
We just went over that. Edge of the Water is definitely a good card for Hersey to have online early because it makes it easier for the rest of the engine to come online, especially because in Hersey's hand is small luxuries, and this just creates a really kind of fucked up card advantage engine. So Edge of the Water says you replace each draw with, you know, an extra 1 card drawn and looted. So small luxury says that when you discard it or mill over it, it returns to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. So with small luxuries in hand, Edge of the Water just says whenever you draw a card for the first time each turn, draw an additional card.
Cool.
Just period.
Yeah. And
Right.
what's Hersey's endgame with all this card
Her-
draw and stuff? Because I don't think we mentioned it yet.
So Hersey's endgame is a series of fogs that prevents you from dealing damage to her into eventually winning off a Laboratory Maniac kill with Iakin.
Wait, that thing's not in the sideboard? It's main boarded? Huh.
It's main deck, but only 1 copy.
Okay. Let's see if Dravos can take advantage of that. I doubt that they can, but
It's probably like just Forest Curse, right? Then you get a mountain off your opponent.
Yeah.
and do like Vivian next turn or like in dire straits and just keep ramping.
I mean, okay, so Vivian. I feel like Vivian's gonna mill out Dravos before they kill Herzi in this
I think that's
matchup.
probably bad. And Vivian doesn't have any way of interacting with non-creature permanents, right? Yeah.
No, it's not that Vivian.
All right, we have drawn our first. Okay, so since we've drawn our first fog, I am now worried because the way that Hershey's deck I think loses this matchup is there's not a fog in the top 20 cards of the deck.
Worried for who?
I'm worried for Petra right now because right now Hersey can set up, or Hersey has Day of the Emperor, which will most likely scry into another fog. Has Studies Past, which means once Hersey gets mana under her, which we're already approaching, that Studies Past can regrow other fogs. And Raw Hit is in particular one of the scarier cards in this deck. So Raw Hit is basically Jace Bellerin on crack.
So the +1 anticipates both players.
Yeah, but you choose what card your opponent gets. So your opponent gets the worst card in the top 3, and you get the best card in the top 3.
Right, so you give your opponent a land.
Yeah, and
then the 0 lets you play one of your opponent's cards.
Or one of your cards. So the card selection you're getting off Raw Hit is kind of stupid. Petra also missed the Curse of Encroaching Water trigger.
Oh yeah. To be fair, I keep missing that trigger too.
It's an easy trigger to miss, and it's also not a super important one a lot of the time, or like in Petra's current hand. But Petra is going to get punished because Petra's about to have. Ooh, the fact this exiles and in dire straits is kind of nice.
Well, Hersey can't cast it because otherwise it goes back to the yard. But it can just jail it forever.
Exactly. It's exiled forever though, which is kind of nice.
It's basically just a mill. I mean, or exile mill. Like it doesn't matter essentially. In the same way that mill doesn't.
Trigger. Yep. All right. Oh, interesting. Grabs the Unraveling rather than the Tranquil Repose.
You don't need 2 fogs, right? And plus, Dravos isn't attacking yet.
Yep. And Unraveling is a pseudo fog anyway, so it's a entirely reasonable play. I don't think it's an incorrect play. But it's just worth noting.
So how quickly does Hersey win the game again?
So not quickly. It was a 1 hour game 1 last round.
Cool.
So how about the weather?
Well, hopefully, Dravos realizes when they've lost.
Yeah. Hope springs eternal.
Hersey is playing counters on some of the cards offer heat.
Is just marking the ones that are Dravos' cards.
Okay.
So there's no confusion.
So Dravos untaps. I mean, I guess Dravos can get in with Lumbering Hillock. Oh, Wayfarer's Lantern. With
That's
no.
Oh, but there's no prismatic. Yeah. Womp womp.
See, this is why you hard mulligan for land auras in this deck. Oh,
yeah,
no.
I mean, I think this probably won't be long. I do think I get that logic, but on the other hand, this ramp deck does it needs a certain density of mana and threats that I think mulliganing too low can super punish you.
Yes, but I think 5 is a good compromise. Like
I think I agree with that.
Like when I play this deck, I'm gonna mulligan aggressively for a 1-drop ramp all the way down to 5, and then I start feeling bad about stuff mulliganing down further. And usually it pays off.
Yeah, I buy that.
Dravos is taking some time off. Feedly? What's Feedly? Good question, Nix.
It's an RSS feed collector that lets you basically keep up on various webcomics that you follow without having to remember to check every single one of them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't tab out because we're commentating. We have to be vigilant because Dravos can come back at any time.
Constant vigilance. I'm definitely not tabbed out right as we're speaking.
Well, I can't be tabbed out because I'm recording the screen right now.
Yeah, it's true. Your life is very difficult sometimes. The sacrifices you make for this format really need to be remarked upon.
Wait, is Hersey... Oh, okay. Nix asked the question, right? Hersey's not listening into our chat.
Hersey cannot read minds legally.
If mind reading is a thing, it'll be cheating to use it, right?
That's a really good ethical question. Oh, so okay, in terms of the Magic tournament rules, I don't know off the cuff if there's anything against if your opponent says out loud cards in their hand or mentions the card in their hand to their friend in a language they don't think you understand, it's not cheating to understand that.
Right.
So, but I think it is cheating to peek at your opponent's hand.
Right.
So I don't know whether reading minds would count as speaking a language you don't speak or peeking at someone's hand.
Okay, what if you can't turn off mind reading?
Yeah, I think you probably have better things to do than play Magic.
Yeah,
That's my.
but you need a hobby, right? I mean, it's boring being the most powerful person in the world.
I feel like playing Magic would be such a boring hobby if you have perfect information every game. Also, just think of all of those games or matchups where you had perfect information, it just didn't fucking matter. That would feel so bad. Like you're like, okay, I know for a fact my opponent doesn't have any threats, like I am safe to tap out. And then you just hear their mind say, oh my god, that was such a good top deck. And you're just like, motherfucker. I hate this game.
Okay, Dravos is back. Good. We found something to talk about to take up the time.
It's Dravos' turn. So hopefully Dravos does not spend like another 5 minutes waiting.
Dravos is talking about Feedly right now.
That's what you should be doing in your game. It's fine. I don't think Dravos realizes how long this match is going to take.
Okay, I mean, Dravos doesn't realize, but we realize, and we're the ones that...
We're panicking.
Yeah.
You can tell panic in our voice.
Well, at least Nick is also providing some commentary in the chat.
So true, actually.
Nick gets me.
About the too much homework being scary.
Yeah, Rahid's scary because he makes you do too much homework.
It's true. That's his toxic trait. I mean, you'd be +1 land. What would +1 land get you? 6 mana. So you could do both Wayfarer Shrine plus Vivian, I guess, if you are willing to sacrifice the land aura.
Yeah, I mean, in this ramp deck, one land does matter even at high mana values, just because your other cards are so expensive too, right?
Right. You're trying to coalesce a 7-drop and a 12-drop, so it makes sense.
Or you're trying to play 2 layering alphas in the same turn.
I will also say that Prismatic Cavern is a really nice hedge against Tyrant. That's something that I experienced in Revolution when Tyrant was legal there, and so was a card called Shifting Lair, which is the same thing as Prismatic Cavern functionally.
Do you play it intentionally for that, or is it just an incidental thing?
No, it was just an incidental thing. You primarily played it so you could reset the MDFC lands, and also just because, it was a land that provided card advantage.
Right. Wayfarer's Lantern.
Wayfarer's Lantern. Oh yeah, wait, we haven't played land for turn, so we can sacrifice the aura and use Wayfarer's Lantern to cast Vivian.
Yeah, so missing the trigger means you lose out on a land aura, which could matter if you flip into Primal Resurgence somewhere down the line. Actually, Pale Scatter would be more relevant here.
Yeah, that makes sense. And is there any argument towards, are we just trying to rush towards the end game of Tyrant of Tributes?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, what else are you going to do? Your deck doesn't have any other plans, right?
The other thing I would say is, you could have... I guess casting Ramsey from hand is bad, so In Dire Straits made less sense there than Vivian. A very strong point.
Rahid's scary. Plays Vivian.
Yeah, I mean, call me when Vivian gets to Fate Seal your opponent, huh?
Okay, so... Hey, Layer and Alpha.
Layer and Alpha's a nice hit. This is one of those spots where it's like, ooh, glad you have that Unraveling / Day of the Emperor.
Isn't that expected from Herzi's deck, though? You're expecting to fog.
Yeah. I just think that the way that Petra typically wins this matchup involves a fast Labor and Alpha. Dravos saying darn as if that was not a good Vivian +1. Wasn't that a good Vivian +1?
Yes, the average case is that you flip one creature.
Yeah, you flip one creature and you bind a Coalesce card. Yeah.
These are Rahid. Is there any point in hitting Rahid at all?
Yes. Well, kind of. Killing Rahid does stop Herzi from having this unbeatable value engine, basically. And every time Rahid pluses, it brings the game definitively closer to an end state. But, I don't think 1 damage to Rahid or 1 damage to face particularly matters either direction.
Hey, there's your second fog, which is literally just fog.
Yep. Well, not quite. It prevents all damage dealt by creatures this turn. So it prevents non-combat damage in addition to combat damage. That's the only thing.
Huh. Right. What's the wording on... So fog only prevents combat damage, or vanilla fog, right? Yeah. Cool. Reheat +1s. Let's see what it flips. If Reheat +1s and flips a Tyrant, do we just, assume the game's over?
Does Petra's deck run multiple Tyrants?
No.
Let me double check.
Right. Well, no, it does, right?
Yeah, I think it runs 2.
It runs 2. Okay, if Reheat +1s and flips 2 Tyrants, is the game over?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way that Petra wins this that doesn't involve, nuking your opponent's lands. I think you just give a Mysterious Cataract here.
Yeah.
The other ones like are real card. Giving Shrine instead of Cataract is interesting.
Something mana thresholds.
Yeah, that's true. It means that your opponent only has access to 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana next turn rather than 9.
So that's the difference between.
Sorry, 7 and 8. So if they had 8 mana and they drew a land, then they could use Dire Straits into Leyrin Alpha.
I don't think Curzi's worried about that though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Herzi is worried about. To be fair,
decking out? No, wait, no, they're trying to win by decking out.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Okay, they're worried about disconnecting. Like if their internet suddenly goes down, so they want to win before that happens.
So we discard small luxuries to maximum hand size.
Does that work?
Yep, and now it'll recur on Dravos' end step.
Cool.
Small luxuries is a very good card that you need very specific engines to like build around and abuse. Big fan of it in the context of Void Portal. It's not particularly good, but it's funny.
Wait, does Herzi also play Void Portal?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Void Portal is a card that seems really powerful, but nobody plays. Except for that one time where Skygar ran a combo deck with it.
Yeah, I used to play it in Dreamsight Control back when that was a thing.
Right, because you want all the tutors in the world.
Yep, and you don't care about going down one card if you're tutoring, for a draw 5. And the deck is just like so heavily indexed around 2-drops. But that deck super doesn't exist anymore, so it's
thanks
okay.
For...
Yeah, that's your fault, by the way. I would have gone to keep playing with that card indefinitely.
Look, if I didn't win 2 GPs in a row, I don't think it would have gone nerfed, so it is directly my fault.
It is very much your fault. I think you do Crumbling Shrine here to get the most looks at a land, because if you hit a land, you can do in Dire Straits, and put in land, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you are one short of being able to Leyrin Alpha after an in Dire Straits. Very sad.
But more than that, you want to Crumbling Shrine first, because that way you know what's on top before you Vivian Plus.
Before you Vivian. Yeah, that makes sense too.
So you can bottom all your non-creatures.
I'm not sure if it's technically better to do the thing that sees more cards versus the thing that gives you selection first. Because if you do Crumbling Shrine and you see something you like, you can't leave it on top without Vivian, or like if it's a non-creature that you like, Vivian just mills over it.
There's there's no non-creatures that you like right now that you wouldn't mind getting milled.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess especially because the deck is like, as we keep reiterating, it's really just the Tyrant Attribute show right now. So playing Smack with Tyrant Attributes involves playing this Crumbling Shrine.
So what else can Dravos be thinking about right now?
I assume we're just doing kind of mana math sort of stuff, like, can I in Dire Straits before casting Leyrin Alpha? What about if I use Ramsey? Like, that sort of thing.
Seems like they're Dire Straiting first, because they're tapping their blue source, which feels... Actually, I don't know how I feel about that. It's like minor sequencing stuff that could end up mattering, but it's just mostly just busy work.
Okay, so controversial take. I think Dravos is actually mostly dead at this stage. Like, I just started processing all of the things that are underneath Rahit. Rahit can already cast one fog from there, has a second fog in the form of Vantage Point, like, ready to go. Herzi just lets this Leyrin Alpha resolve because, we have enough fogs that the only thing that matters is countering a Tyrant Attributes.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if Dravos plays Crumbling Shrine first. No, they're gonna attack first.
Yeah, which I don't mind. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. If you're in this situation, Ricky, do you attack with Ramsey? Send a message?
No, because I want to play optimally.
Even though your opponent does not run creatures and cannot, like, haste attack you back?
Huh. Well, maybe I would, just because it's more convenient to select... No, I wouldn't, because it's not actually even more convenient to select everything, because Leyrin Alpha can't attack either.
Yeah, you should have put Leyrin Alpha on the other side. This is just, like, unoptimal play.
You're losing time. Like, this is not speedrun strats.
Yeah.
So here's our first fog.
It's interesting to do your scribe before fetching.
I think
minor mistakes.
Yeah, I think you just forget.
Yeah. No other effect. There's no other effect needed. What are you talking about?
Hey, you might want...
And then I'm going to do it again.
You might want to Unraveling, right? In response, just because why not, right?
Yeah, you might want to Unraveling to counter your own Day of the Emperor.
Yeah. In order to get some increase your storm count.
Vivian.
So Crumbling Shrine flips land. Playing Crumbling Shrine first ended up paying off for Dravos because Vivian's not going to hit a land.
It's true. This is going to be the most underwhelming Vivian -9 we've ever seen.
Really? I mean, have you seen the mirror match?
That was still an impressive Vivian -9, even if it didn't do anything.
No, Kayu's first one. Like Kayu -9 Vivian and then didn't attack because my board was too big and was gonna just trade with the Hydras.
All right, so we drew 2 Petal Scatterers off this, which is sick.
Yeah, Petal Scatter is probably the best card in this matchup because Herzi doesn't have any good ways to really answer it, right? Other than just the normal way of answering creatures.
I think the card is basically equivalently good as any other beat stick.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see Dravos make some very impressive board states this game that super don't matter literally at all.
So just like my mirror match against Kayu.
Exactly like your mirror match against Kai. We're up to 2 Curse of Waters over on that side.
And yet Dravos is still gonna forget all their triggers.
Well, they don't have any lands anymore.
They have
well,
a land in
there's
their
one
hand, yeah. Let's see if Dravos remembers the trigger.
We'll see. All right, so tapping 2 mana at end step, cycling Promethean Grotto, I assume? Yeah. Card advantage. Let's go.
It is card advantage.
The sickest move that this deck is capable of. Oh god, and now you discard the small luxuries.
Ooh, but don't you have to discard to hand size? Oh, you don't, right.
And now we shuffle away the cards that we carefully put on the bottom of our library.
This doesn't have even have any mainboard instant speed cards. Or does it?
Nope.
Huh.
Animating lands, I guess.
Sackbow activations?
Oh boy, that's too much of the waters. Whew.
You're just gonna discard an isolated because there's nothing to isolate.
Yeah, you don't care about the Vivian, and there's nothing else you'd want to hit.
Yeah, instead of isolating your opponent's stuff, you just isolate yourself from damage.
Exactly, over and over and over again. Do we raw hit for lands?
What do you mean? Raw hit 0?
Either 0 or +1. +1 probably hits a land.
Don't you already have a land?
You have a tapped land if you want to untapped land.
Okay, yeah, you can reheat. I think +1 probably flips a land enough at the time that you're willing to +1 instead of 0.
I think +1ing, and then also like I think every single time you +1, you have the chance of just removing some of your opponent's town attributes from the game, which feels great. Herzi is only what 4 land, so 4 more cards in graveyard away from Edge of the Water being online, and the second one of these Edge of the Waters go online, Herzi can just like play out the rest, and that's gonna be huge.
What does going online do for it? Oh, it just makes stuff cheaper.
Yeah. All right, both players look at the top 3. Okay, so missed on the land, but grabs another Unraveling probably.
Yeah.
And then can discard that Unraveling to hand size to make the next Unraveling better.
Just discard your Edge of the Waters to hand size. You don't need that many.
Each Edge of the Water is actually Edge of the Water is really good at multiples.
Okay. Discard one of your fogs. You don't need this many. You're gonna draw your fogs anyways.
Discard your Icon's Portal. What could go wrong?
Yeah, is there any way to get it back?
Yeah, the study's passed.
Oh.
That's in hand and also under Rahid.
Well, the good news is Dravos has 0 grave hate right now.
It is true. Wait, well, in play, yes.
Yes, right now.
One in main deck.
There's only oh right, they cut a sackbow for Tyrant. The normal version runs 2 sackbows, and I still feel like sackbow is probably better than Tyrant in this scenario, and in most scenarios too.
So it's going to discard the small luxuries again and discards one of the Unravelings.
All right, at least this will be quick because Herzi has the engine going.
Yeah, the raw hit pluses move us pretty steadily towards an end state. That's the other nice thing about keeping the other edge of the waters, since each edge of the water means you draw an additional card and discard an additional card off of every single draw. So when you have 3 in play, for your draw step, you draw 4 cards, discard 3 cards, and then if you like cycle a Promethean Grotto, you draw another 4, discard another 3. So you just like burn through your library. So I would not be shocked if Herzi has the kill in like 3-ish turns.
Oh, right. And Dravos forgot about their curses again, but Herzi's gonna let them have it.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty reasonable because the board state like didn't change since Herzi played a Dominion and then like moved immediately to end step. So I didn't see that one of those. I think I only saw 1 land in hand, but there was 2.
One of them got flipped off Rahid, I think.
Okay. That would explain it.
Yeah, so this is why you should play your land before you. Not actually. Wait, Herzi needed to plus Rahid to get their land. Never mind.
Honestly, if Dravos cast the Sack Bowl, I'm kind of tempted to counter that if I'm Herzi, just because you don't have a good way of removing it once it's in play, and you have like this studies past engine, which is one of your ways of ensuring like long-term survival. I don't know if Dravos like is heads up enough to know how like graveyard reliant Herzi's deck is, but that means that you can bait counter magic with his Sack Bowl, or if you want, you can bait around it. So like you can cast other spells you think your opponent might want to counter.
Yeah.
So that with your sack ball through.
Except your opponent doesn't you don't have any spells that your opponent needs to counter except Tyrant, right? So you just if you want to
No.
get sack ball resolved, you need to get Tyrant first.
Yeah. So just fetch twice, then plus Vivian, hope to flip.
Yeah. If you don't flip, then play 2 Petal Scatters, and now you have Wayfarer's Lantern for 3.
Yep.
You turn Wayfarer's Lantern into Thran Dynamo.
Each Petal Scatterer is only like net minus, I guess, net 1 mana, right? Because as long as you stick it on an untapped land, that land pays for 1 of the mana, and then the untapped Wayfarers pays for another.
It does, but the sequencing might not work out because you need triple green, and you have some non-green basics.
Yeah. You have exactly 7 green sources, so
it
you
does
could
work.
have, yeah, just barely get there. But I think you definitely Vivian before combat here. Because if you can Tyrant... Would you rather resolve the Sack Ball or the Tyrant?
Honestly, I'd rather resolve...
Percy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 permanents right now.
Are you counting the Curse of Encroaching Waters that technically
No,
should...
I'm counting
Okay.
Edge, Raw Hit, and the 5 lands.
Well, they're on the odd number of permanents, so this is a good time to Tyrant.
Yeah. Okay, so we are not doing that. We are Petal Scattering, which, you know, is fine, but does mean that you're not going to be... Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7...
Wait, why would you not plus Vivian first? Like, it's free. You should always plus Vivian first, because it gives you more information.
So, if you are specifically looking to Tyrant attributes your opponent this turn, I think it might be correct to Sack Ball to bait the counter magic and then hope to hit off the Vivian. But also, as I'm saying this out loud, this does not sound like the right line at all. That sounds like just gambler's fallacy all the way.
Yeah, they're playing Blossom on the Island, which I guess that's fine. Yeah, that way, sometimes you want to put your land auras on your blue land because it works out better for casting or coalescing your RFEs.
Right now, Dravos is a 30% to hit 8 Tyrant tributes off the Vivian plus.
Oh yeah, right, because it's 3 cards, 24.
4 cards out of 24 are 2 hits in the population. I just booted up the Hyper Geo for that.
You didn't do it in your head? I thought you were...
No, I'm not that cool.
Yeah, nobody's that cool. Nobody in the server is that cool.
If someone is, please let us know, because we want to congratulate you. Shake your hand.
Yeah, being able to do hypergeometric calculations in your head.
And also, please get a real job.
Miss one of those... what?
The Antelope triggers off Ramsey.
I think you can just use elf sequence ordering or elf or sequencing for that.
That is correct.
Are you gonna plus Vivian? Like, is there a reason not to plus Vivian right now?
No, you should plus Vivian before... That's definitely not the card you cast here, but okay. I mean, I guess, whatever. Draw 2.
Yeah, you might draw Tyrant.
It could even be a boat.
This deck does not play boats, unfortunately.
You know, I love Herzi, like, correcting the size of these Petal Scatterers as if the stats on Petal Scatterer matter at all.
It could matter if Herzi runs out.
Well, they do matter in most matchups, but the difference between a 4/4 and a 6/6 Petal Scatterer is kind of ephemeral when the 2 4/4s alone put Herzi at dead on board. So we're you're dead enough if your opponent ever does damage.
Alright, Herzi needs to remind Dravos to play in Dire Straits. Not like RFE, but like Growth Spiral.
I mean, it also doesn't matter right now. Like, you play the land off Dire Straits, and then you have nothing to play afterwards.
Okay, is it gonna be Tyrant?
Tyrant.
Tyrant. Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, get you closer to Tyrant for Vivian.
We're at a 35% chance to hit right now.
Did you boot up the calculator again?
Yeah, I just checked it again. If we fetch another land out of the deck, we're up to 37%.
So
missed the opportunity.
Okay, do we get it?
How? We are still missing.
Oh dear. Raheat's. What's the chance of Raheat hitting one? No.
That's a great question. Right now, since your deck is down to 17 cards, Raheat is a 33% chance to hit at least one.
What about both?
Is a 2% chance to hit both.
Okay, so it's gonna happen.
Herzi is getting very frustrated with math.
Dravos, you asked for a deck, okay?
It's true. Big number is fun, and that's why you play ramp. But that's not the way big number work.
Yeah.
You want a big number in the sense of casting Tyrant of Tributes.
Or getting your Pale Scatters up. If this wasn't if this was a matchup where Pale Scatter mattered. Alright, so I think the plan here is wait, you can't play Pale you don't have the right mana for Pale Scatter number 4. No, you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so play Pale Scatter number 4. Now you have Wayfarer's Shrine making I don't know how much mana, but it's definitely a lot. then you play Ramsey and put Aura on the land again. So now next turn you have, I don't know how much mana, but it's probably enough to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you hope to hit 2 Tyrants and see if you can play 2 Tyrants in the same turn with your mana. Because that does get through a counter spell. Okay, so what are the chances that the game ends by Dravos milling out instead of Herzi milling out?
A good question. I would have said low, but the way this Vivian is working makes me reconsider that.
Yeah, I guess this is another weakness of the ramp deck. In long matchups, you risk milling yourself out.
If we had Nexus of Fate legal in this format, and you could run a 1 of Nexus of Fate, so that when your deck was 1 card left in it, you took infinite turns.
Actually, you can't because I think Dravos lost their second blue source.
Wait, really? Oh well, you still have Wayfarer's Lantern.
Oh right, that works technically. Yeah, that works.
Does the deck really just run 1 basic island and 1 lush oasis?
Let me check.
That can't be right.
It runs 2 basic islands and
1 lush oasis. Okay, so you're
and 1 seaside grotto.
Okay. Also, I think lost the seaside grotto.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, milled over it. Oh no, also milled the basic island. Yep. No. So can't so has to use Wayfarer's Lantern to do the thing.
Well, it's fine. It's how you're getting mana to call it or to reconstruct it anyways, so you don't mind.
Are you waiting at the beginning of combat? You attack, your opponent casts fog. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, it means that it taps Herzi out of Unraveling, so you can now play Sackbow. Right?
Herzi can just scramble the scouts.
Are they gonna scramble the scouts? I feel like they're gonna be extracted by the card draw off Tranquil Repose.
Herzi's been holding Unraveling up for this long. I don't think Herzi's gonna change.
Nope. They're gonna.
Oh, are we gonna see No, we're gonna see it.
Okay, it's Herzi's tapped out. Dravos, play Trackball now. Punch them.
Yeah, this is an interesting decision. I guess your opponent has tapped low enough that they can't Tyrant of Tribute to, so you're like, I'm safe.
Actually, yeah, good point. What? Dravos should have done this post combat.
Awkwardly doing it post combat would have cost Herzi to play better. It's also a little bit unfortunate that Herzi is 1 card away from enabling Edge of the Water, which would turn Unraveling back on.
I'm surprised Edge of the Water isn't enabled already, considering how much engine things Herzi's been doing so far. I guess Small Luxuries just keeps coming out of the yard, and that's why it's not building up.
Yeah.
All right, Dravos, are you gonna slam Sackbow? Because that's the correct play right now, I think.
It's technically right to do Ramsey first, right? No. Ignore me.
All right, Sackbow. Come on, play Sackbow. Yes, you got it. You can turn off Edge of the Water now. What? Excuse me? Hey, you're the judge. Can you tell me what's going on right now?
Herzi is making a mistake.
Oh dear. Oh, Small Luxuries in yard. Okay.
Yeah. Never mind. We didn't see. Okay. Yeah. No. That card does not exile itself. It does stay in the yard. We're just putting it over here to represent that. Okay.
Okay. Cool. That. Sure. So that play makes sense now.
Yep. Good job, Herzi. We just did not understand your arcane secrets of putting cards in various zones.
Technically, doesn't that count as a misrepresenting the board state infraction?
No. So when you are putting Small Luxuries on the battlefield, you are just acknowledging its trigger. Your opponent could ask, hey, I would prefer if you kept that in your graveyard. And if they do, then you say, sure, whatever. But there's nothing wrong with doing this sort of thing.
Well, at least now Dravos gets to play Pedal. Wait, do they get to play Pedal Scatter? No, they don't, right?
They can Ramsey into Pedal Scatter if they want.
I don't think you want to sack your Ramsey aura just yet.
I think that's probably true. That's a very funny exchange. Herzi, there are 3 cards I care about in main deck, and Sackbow is one of them. At Dravos, I think I know what the other 2 are.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen any of them yet.
They're hiding. Would have thought 4. Does Dravos not know how many Tyrant Tributes are in the deck?
I think they don't remember how many Sackbows they have in their deck, because my version ran 2 Sackbows, but I told them to cut one of the Sackbows for Tyrant because they wanted to fit in Tyrant.
Yep, makes sense. Is going to play a Ramsey to get an Antelope, get an Aura, sack it. I think this is just like kind of very straightforward. I want to cast all my spells. I would like to play all of my cards.
Yeah.
Nope. Is not even setting up the Pedal Scatterer this turn.
Well, it's not like you can, right? Because the island means you don't get enough green for Pedal Scatterer, even if you do.
So you had blue-green for Ramsey, and you had 1 green floating afterwards.
Huh.
There's 2 blossoms.
Right.
If only green could do extra combats, I have bad news about how extra combats work versus fogs. Okay, so I wonder if we'll see a Edge of the Water into another Edge of the Water.
Probably. I mean, that seems cool, and that feels like what the deck's built to do.
So you tap your Prismatic Cavern, cast one, cap your island, cast another.
I do find it funny how Herzi still has more cards in deck than Dravos right now.
Yeah, that's true. For now. That's probably going to change very soon. All right. Show me Tyrant Tributes.
Nope. Okay. Darn.
Wah. There's one of them.
Okay, well, Dravos can still get the other one.
Oh, no. Speak No Evil is not the card you want to see there.
What do you mean? Oh.
Speak No Evil, first line of text.
Ah.
Yep.
Well,
I agree with Dravos. This is game. This is checkmate.
I mean, at least you can't counter mana abilities.
It's true. Mana abilities can't be targeted, but Tyrant of Tributes ETB certainly can.
Alright, so what you need to do now is...
Concede. Get to the next game as fast as possible.
Invoke rule, what's the rule called again? What's the number? I forgot.
104, the one that means you can concede at any time?
Yeah.
It's 104 something, I think.
Yeah, 104.3a.
Yeah.
Okay, Dravos. Okay, they're gonna play it out. We get to see how Herzi actually wins, so that's still good for commentary purposes, if Dravos F6s.
Herzi, I don't think your opponent's doing anything here.
You have the land aura on top. That's in effect. F5? No, Dravos. It's F6.
F5 is yield until end of turn, I think. So, not the most incorrect.
Huh. We should use F5 more, too, then, in our terminology. Because on HerziQuerzi, going to end step doesn't always indicate that you're actually passing the turn.
So right now, Tranquil Repose costs 1 mana.
Cool. So he passed costs.
It's a little bit awkward that Herzi can't like instant speed the studies pass and all, but I don't know why you would need to. As we went over, Herzi only cares about 3 cards, and 2 of them have been answered, and the third one is checkmated by the Speak No Evil in hand. So as long as Herzi doesn't like suddenly decide to stop playing the game, you could write a simple computer program from this point on to win the game as Herzi.
So what? Play Fox every turn. That's
so
it, right?
when your opponent casts a Fog, if my opponent casts Tyrant Tributes, Speak No Evil to ETB. Once I have N or less cards in my deck, play Icon's Portal.
Do you have enough Fox to do that if you just use a naive algorithm?
So we have 3 in hand. I don't think Dravos takes more than 3 turns from here. Or I don't think this game takes more than 3 turns to win from here.
Pale Scatter. I like how Dravos took the time to stack everything while Herzi was taking their turn.
If you have the time, you may as well spend it.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what'd be funny? If Dravos killed themselves by milling themselves out so that they don't have to lose to Herzi.
Yep. I think that's the winningest play.
Yeah. It's the honorable way to go.
I agree.
So how fast can you mill yourself out? You can cast Recall and Vivian minuses or Vivian pluses. Wait, they're getting -9.
Why?
Because it looks cool.
Yeah, that's fair. Hard to argue with that. I do wish people who played against this Turbofog deck did a better job of keeping track of cards known cards in hand. Because I think we could save everyone a lot of time if you just tell your opponent, please discard the bell. Combat, swing, done. I have only ever played against Herzi's deck while playing control decks that have favorable matchups into it, so I've never known the agony of being locked under fogs. But a very humanoid Hydra. I guess it has an arm?
Is that even is that okay? I guess it's sort of like an arm. Oh, what does the full art look like? Because I know a few cards in this format use this art.
All Herzi casts a Tranquil Repose, draws 4, discards 3.
Hey, look, more Speak No Evils.
More fogs, more Edge of the Waters.
Oh, edgy. No, they're gonna discard the edge. I guess they finally decide to take off their edge.
So much disrespect for Edge of the Water. Look at where that card has brought you.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably see Herzi keep the small luxuries in hand now, because Herzi is going to most likely win on her next turn, which means, yeah, okay.
Cool.
You want those luxuries in hand so you can draw a card immediately after flipping Icon. Okay.
Yay.
So
boards.
You bring in one more sack bowl. You bring in your Forbidden Treasures. That's huge in this matchup. And your Helene's. I don't know what you cut. It probably is. I don't know. What do you cut in the ramp deck?
Well, I think you cut Ramses against. Well, so I'm kind of boarding according to what Purple told me way back when. But against decks that Ramsey isn't good against, you cut Ramses. And other than that, I think you you start cutting in dire straits because that's worse than RFE in most matchups, except in the matchups where it is better, then you feel bad about cutting it. Yeah, I actually have no idea how to board with ramp, even though I'm the one who kind of introduced this deck. I think I just make a bunch of random cuts. I feel
On
bad
Herzi's
about it.
end, I think I probably want to cut the Mark the Scale Blight, and I think otherwise I don't really have any cards I care to board out. And then in terms of boarding in, I don't know, maybe you board in a privileges way or something. You could board in Seekers of the Corelight Court to help your ability to beat Forbidden Treasures. That seems defensible. But
Yeah.
Forbidden Treasures will make your life very inconvenient, even if it doesn't counter a spell, just because it still like spreads all the extra copies.
Oh yeah, right. It doesn't have to be countered, right? It's just
Yeah.
Huh.
So I think you have like 7 good board ins for Petra, and I think boarding out the some copies of Ramsey and some copies of In Dire Straits makes plenty of sense to me.
Yeah.
But you keep all 6 turn 1 accelerants, you keep the Wayfarer lanterns, you keep the existing sack bowls, you keep the Tyrant tributes. Maybe you okay. So Leyland Alpha is really good if you cast a turn 3, and it's kind of whatever otherwise.
Right.
Vivian also is like very mediocre in this matchup, except she finds you Tyrant of Tributes, which is really good. So probably still good enough to keep.
You need to keep Vivian just because that's your card advantage engine.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, I think you just cut more in dire straits because the backside completely doesn't matter against Fog.
Yeah, I buy that.
Seems like both players are taking their time boarding. Certainly not an easy matchup to board for.
This is why we need to introduce MTGO's 3 minutes to board.
Can we also introduce the chess clock?
I would kill for a chess clock.
Yeah. Imagine if MSEM matches don't always take 1 hour to do.
It was about a 1 hour for the game 1 here.
Yeah.
Even though I called it kind of over around the 30-minute mark. So, you know.
See, if there was a chess timer, I think people will be more incentivized to concede when the game's over or when the game is unwinnable.
I think that's probably true.
Although if we used a tournament timer, then I think people still incentivizes people to concede unwinnable matches, right? Dravos has no idea what to take out. Yeah, I actually agree because
no, this is not an easy board experience. Like Ramp is a linear deck, and linear decks are always kind of harder to board for because in control decks you can go, oh, these are the cards that are bad in the matchup. Whereas the linear deck is already trying to present the best possible like initial 60 it can.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of cards in your sideboard that could be good and also could be bad, and you can't really tell.
Dravos should have asked for a boarding guide. Well, the thing is, I don't have a boarding guide either. Okay, when I'm playing Ramp,
control I don't know. You don't have the turbo. You certainly don't have the Turbofog like boarding guide on hand. That's not a common matchup.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see Dravos incorrectly board in Relic Corrosion.
I feel like that's gonna happen because Dravos did play a previous version or play a deck in a ramp deck in a previous GP that ran Twisted Masterwork plus Seeker of Untouched Beauties. So
yeah,
it was their first time playing the deck during the round 1, I think. So they boarded out Seeker. They boarded out Seeker, and that was before the Twisted Masterwork change. So it was like the Little Pig version where you definitely needed Seeker in the deck in order to turn on your Twisted Masterworks or turn your Twisted Masterwork into instant speed rampant growth. And they immediately got punished because they kept a hand with Twisted Masterwork in game 2. Yeah.
Maybe Helene isn't good because your opponent has like pointless non-creature spells they can cast, so Helene's -2 doesn't actually fuck with your opponent.
Actually, yeah, good point. But so it only becomes good if it's on curve, which might not happen. I mean,
it's fine if it's on curve. It like probably doesn't win you the game automatically, especially because you can't like stack them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would primarily focus on boarding in the sack bowls and Forbidden Treasures. So I would be boarding out 4 copies of In Dire Straits and 1 copy of Ramsey. Does that make sense? I could also see doing like a 3-2 coward split angle.
Maybe you could board out some copies of.
No, you should not be considering a 65 card deck. That is incorrect. Don't do that one.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a deck that has like nut draws, it is never correct for you to board up on cards except versus maybe mill, because every card you add to your deck reduces your chance of nut drawing. Yes, it feels bad when you have all of these cards you want to put in your deck and you don't have cards you want to take out, but you still just gotta like, be a big kid and do that.
Well, it's 67. I think that also throws off your land ratio. Like 7 cards is enough to throw off your land ratio, right?
That's boarding in the that's boarding the 7 cards we talked about without boarding out a single card.
Huh. Well, I mean, at least Dravos won't mail themselves out as quickly, right?
Yeah, that is a true statement.
Okay,
It's a bad opener, partially because you fucked up your ratios.
never mind. They got the insane. They got the perfect hand. They can keep this.
That's a good hand. Herzi's hand has 1 non-land card in it. Okay, yeah, I mean Herzi might die to this Petal Scatterer before anything else happens.
Yeah, Herzi's just taking it easy on Dravos. Wait, why did Herzi keep this hand? Like, you lose against ramp if you let them do stuff early.
I mean, Herzi's deck doesn't stop people from doing stuff early.
Shouldn't you keep at least 1 fog?
I don't know.
Or at least 1 edge of the water, or at least just some way to get more cards before your opponent starts doing stuff.
You have Promethean Grotto, and you do have like the really glacial rate of play Promethean or discard a Promethean Grotto, play it, play Prismatic Cavern to pick up the Promethean Grotto to cycle it again. So you have like some really cool slow as fuck lines. But yeah, I mean your Unraveling's not going to be able to stop this Petal Scatterer, but it will be able to stop Tower Tributes. And the other thing is like Herzi is fine to lose like the first 14 life. Right?
Right.
It doesn't matter if it wins on 19 life or 2 life. It just matters, like, does it get... And see, sometimes you just draw the card you want.
Still no early game.
Yeah, I mean, you have a turn 3 play that's basically as fast as this deck ever gets. Herzi won the last game without playing anything before turn 3.
Wait, so what's Herzi's plan against aggro again?
Herzi's plan against aggro is I am playing so many main deck fogs, and if it's aggro that, like, is burned, it boards and stand unsaleables. Like, this deck is good against aggro.
Okay. So at least Dravos is gonna do the insane opener where you go turn 1 Primal Resurgence, turn 2 Wayfarer's Lantern, immediately tap it because Wayfarer's Lantern comes to play untapped, and it becomes basically a Soul Ring for 2 mana.
And we're gonna do the Romsey into Petal Scatterer line to also get a couple more Antelopes.
Yep, this is literally the best draw you could get in this deck, or best opener, I mean.
I think I actually really fucking hate that Dravos had this opener, because I think it really teaches the wrong lesson. I think it's actually like, you have a nut draw, you can't board in extra cards because it reduces your chance of... And the Dravos goes, yeah, but what if I get the nut draw anyway? It's like, this is not legal. What is happening here is not legal.
By the way, Pep, you're slightly cutting out, so you might want to reconnect.
Oh yeah, we'll do.
So Dravos sacks their land aura and plays. Well, they need to fetch a forest right now. But yeah, they're gonna play Petal Scatter afterwards. Is this fast enough to beat Herzi with Herzi's current hand?
Unclear. So Petal Scatterer will be a 5/5, and you have 2 Antelopes. So you have Herzi on a 3-turn clock, but Herzi can probably start fogging by the end of that 3-turn clock, especially because you can't attack this turn. So Herzi's going to get 3. Herzi's going to be able to get to 4 mana before they need to do anything. So they can get Edge of the Water out.
Oh, Dravos forgot their Antelope trigger again.
6. That adds a full turn to the clock. Now it's a 4-turn clock.
Unfortunate. Oh, Rahit. Yeah, that's well, I mean, they're all slow cards.
Yeah, it's you want to draw a land. You haven't drawn a land yet, but it's kind of whatever. I would probably play a Prismatic Cavern there. I mean, Prismatic Cavern means you have to discard max mana size, but you want to play out the tap land sooner rather than later.
You want the Psycho Grotto right now because you need to draw cards.
Right. You need to dig further into the deck. Yeah, I forgot about Grotto.
And, Dravos, are you gonna take your turn?
Well, Herzi went very quickly.
Okay, fine.
Dravos. Okay, so the nut draw here for Dravos is Leyrin Alpha.
Yeah.
If Dravos is also Leyrin Alpha, I'm pretty sure Herzi does not get to stabilize this game.
Vivian would also be a pretty good draw, I think.
Vivian, I don't think is a card that Herzi is like scared of in the same way that you're scared of Leyrin Alpha, though.
Yeah, but once you resolve Vivian, now you're like you have a steady stream of threats to slam down.
Yeah, once you draw Vivian, your chances of drawing the threats that also kill you go up. But like Vivian isn't the threat, you know? Like Vivian are the threats. Like Herzi needs to play a game where Herzi is going to play a game where they are capable of beating Vivian. Herzi is not playing a game where they are capable of beating a Leyrin Alpha that is drawn next turn.
Right. Dravos is looking for the headphones right now. Very convenient time to have something like that happen.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little bit awkward though that Dravos doesn't have access to blue mana or red mana. I mean, I guess has access to one of those via New Divide.
Yeah. But
the lack of access to blue mana means like Forbidden Treasure is a lot less good here.
Well, this is not what you want to see.
Yeah, another Romsey is like very I mean, it means that you get
He's also asking for a chess clock. Dravos, you need to play Ramsey pre-combat in order to buff your spell scatter.
womp womp. Swing 6.
Dravos, play. You got the nut right, and you're not even playing it optimally.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of cases, like, it doesn't matter if you play optimal, but Dravos playing slightly suboptimal did like add an entire turn to their clock. So
well, did playing suboptimally here also add another entire turn to their clock?
so they would have dealt 1 more damage.
Yeah.
Or so we have 13 life, and then would take another 9. No, it didn't add another turn.
Okay, what if they played optimally on the first go around?
If they play optimally on the first go round, I'm sorry, now we're having me do too much math.
Okay, fine. We don't have the person who can
do Hyper Geo in their head. Yeah.
See, if Purple was here, he'd be willing to do the math.
Oh, just like go back and do the math. Disgusting. Herzi did not cycle Promethean Grotto? Yeah, okay, yeah, remembers too.
They did not for gore.
Yeah.
They almost for gore, but they did not for gore.
Draws another land.
Can we get another land? Yeah, we can.
Okay, so Herzi's deck runs 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13-ish fogs. So Herzi's gone through 12 cards so far.
Edge of the water and pass. So next turn we're gonna start the CRG.
Herzi is currently living in the 4% timeline of not hitting a fog in the top 12 cards of their library.
Okay, what's the chance of Dravos drawing that opening hand after boarding like that?
I am scared to do that math. I would be very upset by the answer. Let me tell you, it's not better. It is much worse.
Okay, let's.
No, you should not crack the new divide because you don't know which one, whether you're going to want red mana or blue mana.
Well, now you have no choice.
Now you get to pick red mana. Hooray!
You can technically pick blue mana if you think you're gonna reconstruct.
Or
honestly, yeah. I feel like
constructing doesn't matter compared to Tyrant.
Right, but I feel like you don't actually need to fetch Mountain here. Like, I think double blue might be more helpful just in case you get Forbidden Treasures.
That might make sense. I could buy that. I still don't know if you fetch, actually.
I don't think you do.
Is deck thinning that relevant when you're a 67 card deck with the 7 extra cards? Okay, we hit a fog. Now we're in business, baby!
Herzi can start edging with it. The edge of the water.
Herzi already made the joke, so
when
game 1 said always be edging. Yeah, also, even if Herzi didn't hit the Speak No Evil, Unraveling can be used as a partial fog in a pinch, and would have meant that Herzi, instead of taking lethal, would have only gone down to 4 life.
Okay. Well, this guy's fetching Lumbering Hillock now.
Oh my god. Okay, so I cannot believe that Dravos boarded in 7 extra cards, and we said, this is going to reduce your chance of the nut hand, and it's going to make you mana screwed more often because your land ratio is up. And proceed to draw the nut hand and then flood out. Like, how? How are we living in this timeline? I bet this will work.
Okay, so
I mean, if you're Herzi, so you need to either fog this or Unraveling it. It looks like we're going to fog it.
Yep.
In that case, I feel like you should probably Promethean Grotto first. That way you might, like, you know, hit a
more specific fog.
Yeah, like, because Speak No Evil being able to be used as a answer to Tyrant Attributes is pretty great. End of second main. Oh, this is smart, because this means that you can potentially recur the small luxuries if you draw it.
Tiny edges that matter.
And Herzi's deck is all about the edges.
Yeah, edging your opponent out of doing damage to your face. You're at 6 life, yet your opponent can't finish the job.
Studies Pass is actually so good here, because now you can just regrow your Speak No Evil.
Yeah, but you can't take damage in order to give it instant, right? Well, there's fog number 3, 4, 2, right?
Honestly, I think Herzi won. Like,
same.
I don't think Petra wins from here.
Hey,
I think you.
But Petra did find their headphones, so that's something.
Oh, you know what? In that case, Petra did win.
Maybe not having their headphones caused them to play worse.
There's no way to know. Lots of mysteries here.
I mean, if you lost your headphones, do you think you would be able to play optimally? I feel like you would miss triggers left and right and forget to play things pre-combat. If I lost my headphones, I wouldn't be able to commentate with you right now.
It's true. That would be very sad. Doing this on upkeep is smart. Before your opponent can draw their forbidden treasures. Oh wait, Dravos forgot to fetch with Mysterious Cataracts.
Oh, yeah, they forgot. Don't worry, that
Yeah.
also happens to me too some of the time.
It like only barely matters because you have lethal on board anyway, so Lumbering Hillock doesn't matter.
Does Herzy have instant speed enchantment destruction?
Does Herzy have just enchantment destruction, period? No.
Well, there's another land. Well, I mean, at least Dravos did not get rewarded for their boarding.
They didn't get punished correctly either, however. I would like to still complain.
Complaint to RNG gods?
Yeah. This is teaching bad lessons.
I think it's teaching a lesson that you should board out more lands in the future.
I think you're right that is the only reasonable conclusion. Honestly, maybe it's incorrect for Dravos to play out the Wayfarer Shrine here, because that mana doesn't matter, and your opponent being forced to play as if you might have Forbidden Treasure does.
The mana might matter if you top deck Recall Forgotten Aeons, or the land play might matter.
You need to draw into like 2 lands for it to matter. In that case, you're kind of fucked, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Well, no, it's an extra land in play in case you want to reconstruct in Dire Straits.
I still don't think that matters as much as forcing your opponent to play around Forbidden Treasure, because you have lethal on board. You don't need to reconstruct in Dire Straits.
Okay, I think Dravos wants to play out so they can thin the deck, quote unquote, improving their chances.
Oh God, no! What is this? I would like to applaud Dravos' restraint, honestly, because I think the majority of MSEM players would have started complaining by now.
Dravos is a good sport.
Yeah, I think that is a very correct conclusion here. Oh, good. There's another Tranquil Repose and Prismatic. God, this game is so fucking over.
It's gonna take a while for Dravos to realize that, though. So
yeah, you don't have any information to know how over things are. Oh, small luxuries. Very exciting. Very exciting.
It's the small things that matter.
The small luxuries.
Like
Okay.
luxury to be able to actually hit face and do stuff.
You take the Promethean Grotto and you put it into play. That way, next turn you can Prismatic Cavern to pick it back up, to cycle it, to draw more cards. That's my take.
Really? You're not gonna do the 1 million other things that would be more productive?
I mean, you can do those things in addition. You can take a lot of game actions.
Here's Rahit. So if Rahit plus ones and hits both tyrants, what do you do right now?
If I'm Dravos, I call a judge. I accuse my opponent for cheating, and I move to Norway. That's the line, I think.
All right, Helene. Wayfarer
Okay, so
Shrine.
as predicted.
Prime Resurgence. 2 unravelings. Literally 2 unravelings.
Mysterious Cataracts. And there's already one of the unravelings in the graveyard and the 4th one in hand.
How did Herzy get all 4 unravelings before Dravos got literally any top end?
Yeah.
They're not even going to give Dravos a land. They're going to give it Dravos Resurgence insteid, which even gives him an extra Antelope. That's
the land represents thinning, I guess.
the disrespect here.
And the Primal Resurgence costs your opponent a mana to use. SMH my head.
Well, no, it buffs the Lantern stack, so now your Lantern's tapping for 4 mana.
Oh, you're right. The issue was that Dravos didn't have enough mana. Hey, you can't script this kind of gameplay. I just want to like roll back in time to the moment where we're like, wow, Dravos has the perfect nut draw hand, and Herzy doesn't have any plays until turn 3. That's how bad this matchup is.
No, it's not the matchup being bad. It's Dravos's draws being bad. Wait, now they're tapping their entire stack.
Yeah, for Lumbering Hillock. I think Dravos actually I think we're being a little bit unfair. Herzy, I think, played this match masterfully by willing all of those lands to the top of Dravos' deck.
Wait, does that count?
Sorry.
If you have the power to manipulate fate, does it count as cheating to use it?
We're getting back into a very interesting area again.
Okay, also you're slightly cutting out, so you might want to reconnect.
Oh boy, let's go.
Tranquil Repose. In response to attack, Herzy survives. Discard small luxuries. More fogs. Okay, continue.
It would count as cheating because part of the rules say that you must present a sufficiently randomized deck every time you play it. So if you were making the deck insufficiently randomized, that would be cheating. Well, okay, it would be cheating if you knew it was against the rules to do it and you were doing it to gain an advantage. Okay. There's a lot of different ways that Magic the Gathering works.
Okay.
I heard you do 2 more lands, never lucky.
Okay, but what if you're what if what if you just have the power to be more lucky than usual? Like it's just a passive buff.
As long as you believe that the deck is sufficiently randomized, I think that's legal.
What if it's provable that you're more lucky than usual because of magic, or because
again,
of
as long as the deck is sufficiently randomized, like there's nothing against the rules about being lucky.
even if it's artificial?
You can't really, given that there's no way of doing artificial luck, we don't really have the ability to sample that right now. We don't
Right.
have good examples in practice.
Well, seems like we can't hit Herzi with the books after all. We're just gonna have to let Herzi go.
Yeah, Herzi gets away scot-free after repeatedly somehow ensuring that their opponent, even after shuffling, there was always another land on top. Like, that's some Yu-Gi-Oh level cheating right there.
Yu-Gi-Oh level? I mean, I'm pretty sure tons of cheaters and Magic just what?
Is playing out the lane and -2ing?
Disrespect.
A Vivian or like any like draw spell or like anything to break up the lock. It's like, nope, countered. Get out of here.
And now Herzi just passes and not the Helene. This is why you shouldn't have boarded Helene in, Dravos.
Clearly, that was the issue that happened this game. The decision to board some Helenes.
So you're still cutting out, so I don't know if it's a mic issue or if you still need to rejoin.
Okay, you know what? Let's entirely restart Discord.
While Pip is away, let's see what. Ooh, a Ramsey. That's slightly more useful than land, but not by much.
Dravos staring at the top of their deck and being like, please, I need to draw something other than a land. And the monkey's paw curls and they get a Ramsey.
It buffs their board by 1.
That is so true.
It adds to their for its stack. Now they have like how much mana do they have if they use up all of their things?
Like, okay, here's the thing. It is incorrect to be activating cards because your opponent doesn't have, I guess they have unravelings. So like it's technically correct to be attacking. Well, in that case, it doesn't matter. So you should just be attacking with Petal Scatterer every turn. Just turn that one guy sideways. And that's the only action you need to be taking. It doesn't matter if you attack with Hillock. It doesn't matter if you attack with the Antelopes. All that matters is Petal Scatterer because your opponent's at 6 life. And either they don't take damage and the game state stays the same, or they do take damage and you win.
Right.
I'm going to teach people how to play against Turbofog, but in reality, it's not ways that make you better against Turbofog. It's ways that make it easier for me to cast you playing Turbofog.
Okay. Well, hopefully Herzi +1's reheat this turn, and we get to laugh again as...
There's just in the air 3 lands.
Well, no. Reheat Plus will flip all the non-land cards, and Dravos will draw the land.
Single experts. I mean, it's because they don't usually run red mana. That's why they don't have a burn spell.
Tyrant Tribute is kind of like a burn spell.
It burns your opponent's board state.
Yeah.
Okay, Captain wait. They decide to skip one of their Edge of the Waters.
Maybe they pick War.
Yeah, but nothing illegal happened.
So they kept in market the Scale Blight. I guess it technically downgrades Petal Scatter. It upgrades Antelopes though, so.
And boarded in a privileges way.
I mean, it does counter Vivian.
Yep, it's an entirely reasonable card.
Oh wait! Herzi can attack with Helene. The game's gonna.
You know how I'm saying it is incorrect to be attacking with Lumbering Hillock and Antelopes? Just continuously draws off of this. Oh, continues to forget that there's an Edge of the Water in play. That's very funny.
Yeah. Well, if Dravos can afford to forget to do some stuff, so can Herzi.
Yeah, I mean, I think Herzi can take actions semi at random and still win from this game state. So
they still need to be able. They still need to cast their fogs on time. If you just got Twitch to play this, I think they're gonna lose because.
Oh yeah, Twitch plays MSEM could lose this absolutely.
Okay, reheat plus, so we can laugh again. Come on, Herzi, give us a reheat plus.
Play. It's the content play.
Yeah.
On the other hand, your opponent has most of their lands in play, so plussing has a very good chance of giving your opponent a card that actually matters.
Yeah, so that's why you plus here, so you can give your opponent the least impactful card instead of them drawing it naturally.
Strong argument. Boarding in multiple privileges sway. That's kind of interesting. I assume takes the small luxuries.
I think they're just like super hedging against Forbidden Treasure.
Oh, diversifying their fogs. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, that's really clever.
What? Actually, I wasn't even. I was gonna say how it counters Forbidden Treasure, but that also works.
Okay, so Dravos gets to draw Mysterious Cataracts.
How many vegetables do they have left?
I'm gonna tell you, it's not a lot. Well, I mean, okay, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fetchables in play, and their deck runs
It's hard to count because they decided to do one of every single version.
12 fetchables. So there's
Okay.
8 in play. So there's still 4 left.
Still 4 more turns to draw nothing but lands. Okay, so I think at this point, Dravos has learned about the Helene, and they're gonna keep back Petal Scatter.
No, you want to attack with Petal Scatterer. You keep everything else back.
Okay, you need to draw a second Petal Scatter.
Whoever wrote the script for this GP is just like an untalented hack. Why not play up what lets you land thin? No.
Okay, so what do you use to block Helene then?
Hillock.
I don't think you want your Hillock to die.
Oh, you're right. You can't afford to go down on mana.
Well, no, you can't afford to go down on threats.
Wait, why did Dravos play 2 lands this turn?
2 explores. I mean, they do have 2 Wait, they have literally.
You get a turn. It's a very good question.
Well, if we look at their graveyard, they have 0 RFEs in there right now.
You know what? And in Dravos' defense, there were a lot of game actions that were taken this turn, so I can understand getting a little bit mixed up and choosing the wrong one.
Actually, yeah, I feel like I should have said 2 RFEs instead of 2 explorers there. That would have made the joke better.
I think 2 explorers is just a sufficient classic that you can't really go wrong.
They're gonna attack with they're not gonna let Helene get their face anymore.
Whether you attack with the Helene, or sorry, whether you attack with the Petal Scatterer or you attack with everything else, it doesn't matter. You keep back one set of blockers, they block Helene, and you're fine. God, and this blue stance just sitting here face up and mocking Dravos. Like, Dravos does have enough mana that if they draw a RFE, they can play it and coalesce it in the same turn, so that's neat.
Can they do that with in Dire Straits too?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm not doing the math, but they have a lot of mana. They've drawn a couple lands this game. I don't know if you've been paying attention.
I wonder what Herzi thinks about all this. You know, like, we can see how Dravos might feel, but how does Herzi feel?
A small luxuries. Okay, let's see if Herzi has started to remember that there are 2 Edge of the Waters in play. So this small luxuries will resolve to the graveyard. Okay, it does remember, and then discards another small luxuries.
Wait, how did he cast small luxuries?
Tap the Forest True Evil.
Wait, what?
Tap the swamp for it.
Oh, right, they do run swamps. I forgot that they run black sources. Dravos is F6.
Oh, losing life to enable studies past. Thick.
Ooh, fancy. Not that matters, but fancy.
So you pick back up your Speak No Evil, your Tranquil Repose, your Promethean Grotto?
Don't you have to discard these guys to hand size anyways?
Not on your opponent's end step. You only have to discard to max hand size on your end step.
Yeah, but you're not gonna be able to use these things on your turn.
Look, who are we to deny someone drawing as many cards as they possibly can?
This isn't even drawing cards. This is just getting back cards that aren't useful right now.
But you can draw cards off of those cards. Cards can be exchanged for cards and cards.
Right, because you discard.
Actually, wait, no. Herzi wins the game next turn.
How?
Because you Promethean Grotto, you draw another 3, you discard 2 more. You draw 3 for your turn, you discard 2 more. You probably have hit an icon by that point. If you haven't, you can Unraveling into an icon.
Can Herzi just not win the game next turn? Just slow roll it so we can see what Dravos draws?
It would be incredibly rude of us to ask Dravos, please draw the last card after he wins the game, so we're not going to do that. But I want to acknowledge that if we weren't scrupulous, if we did ignore the rules, that is a thing we could do. Alright, so through the Icons portal.
Yep.
Play an Onsen, flip Icons portal.
And
so Icon portal mills you 5, and then you're down to 7 in library, so you just need to draw 2 or 3 cards. You probably went on end step with small luxuries. You have Rahit plus to mill another 3.
Wait, right, Rahit plus. We can finally see what Rahit plus hits again.
Oh no. Honestly, you should be thankful that this portal has come down, because this means the game is finally over.
But I want to see how many lands Dravos is going to continue to draw in a row. Because it was funny.
It's true. I don't know if we can call it good content, though. Actually, I'm pretty confident we cannot call that good content.
No, okay, so the actual content, or the actual gameplay isn't great, but our commentary is great, right?
Let us know in the comment section if you guys think our commentary is great.
Yeah, leave a comment for engagement purposes.
Yo! Here they are! We're doing it! We're finally doing it!
Okay, Herzi has to give Dravos something relevant. No.
I think you give them in dire straits. That way those do not go to your graveyard, friend. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're dead, so don't worry about it. But Percy, please do not be precise here. Just play the game out. You've won the game. You know you won the game. Please don't say give. Okay, thank you, Percy. Place out another Edge of the Water.
Okay. Promethean Grotto cycled.
Draw 4, discard 3.
That's game.
You play Tranquil Repose to draw the last ones.
GG.
Oh man. This is the second hour-and-a-half long game that I've watched this deck play. Hopefully, I'm glad there was a co-commentator this time.
Yeah, I feel like watching Dravos draw all these lands in a row probably wouldn't be as entertaining if it was only one person.
I would not be able to keep this interesting. Yep.
Okay, so that's how did it board?
We know exactly how they boarded. They boarded in 7 cards, and they didn't take anything out.
I feel like this is reality playing a cruel prank on us.
Yeah, you really can't write this. You have to experience it. All right, I'm going to be gone now. Farewell.
Yeah, same. And for those of you watching, yeah, I mean, hopefully you enjoyed this game. If you didn't, at least you can laugh at Dravos' misery. Yeah.
And the good news is there's plenty more commentary. So just check out the next video on the channel.
Hopefully.
There's plenty of commentary. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right.